Hello everyone, this is Game Master Karrikin and welcome back to the channel, to the Tiberium Armory. Today we are going to be looking at the Mammoth Tank Mk3. The Mammoth Tank Mk3 is an extremely powerful super heavy tank, the heaviest fielded by any faction in the Tiberium universe and the second heaviest vehicle by faction in the human factions. The newest version is a departure from the standard designs developed in the pre-Tiberium world as a development of the Mammoth family of vehicles, starting with the Mammoth Mk1. The Mammoth is extremely heavy, weighing at 110.8 tons, and is mostly armor plating. The plating itself is Tiberium-derived reinforced titanium plating with ceramic tiling that can be worn on the outside as a skirt. This armor is so thick and durable, even at the bottom of the tank, that the vehicle can survive several hits by an obelisk of light or a storm column before being knocked out. The Mammoth uses a special system for driving its bulk that bypasses some of the design requirements of normal tanks from our universe have. The design is of a central generator, usually Tiberium-enhanced combat jet vehicle jet fuel, fueling the dual mil-spec ducted turbine generators powering the two high-temperature superconductor electromagnetic motors of its four independently articulated treads. This design used no transmission, no drive shaft, no torque converters, just wiring and engines, which bypasses the middlemen and strips away much of the critical components that are needed to operate these behemoths, as well as getting rid of much of its IR signature. And it is important that it does that because as such a large target, it happens to draw fire fiercely. The special nature of the armor system allows the common points of fire to be armored to the point of absurdity, leaving straight-on sections that aren't beveled enough to be thicker than the slanted sections, leading to a higher overall effective armor. It has a 6 to 7 person crew, which consists of a driver, a gunner, a loader, sometimes an assistant gunner, a mechanic, and a communications officer, all next to the commander. The vehicle is capable of driving at 25 miles an hour under full load, or 50 miles an hour when empty on specially made reinforced terrain commonly found in blue zones. The Mammoth tank fires two 150mm smoothbore cannons, or two railguns that fit within the 150mm barrel sheath. The 150mm or 5.9-inch gun comes with ammunition that is armor-penetrating, fin-stabilized, discarding salvet format in multiple warhead configurations and is extremely capable as a weapon, especially with the EVA integration in these systems, and the second cannon to use as a follow-up shot to zero in on a moving target. The cannon's rounds are capable of penetrating most armor on almost any target, with the exception of extremely sophisticated and specialized instruments like that of the Avatar, which already use exotic materials to defeat lesser projectiles. The railgun uses shielded rails within a barrel to expel a 18-inch round down at speeds at energy outputs that equal battleship cannons, and its ammunition is far below the cost of the cannon-launched shells. Nothing on a modern battlefield can withstand the literally earth-shattering impact of these cannons, which can punch through curtain walls in repeated shots. The Mammoth is also armed with two twin-linked surface-to-surface or surface-to-air missile launchers that are capable of independently targeting aircraft and defeating them with repeated volleys. All of these projectiles are stored within the hull and are easily reloaded and protected within. The Mammoth tank has a single turret that swivels at a fairly brisk rate, able to track with many vehicles at range easily, while struggling with lighter non vehicles in closer range. The cab supports heavy air filtration systems as well as air conditioning, and allows the crew to complete safety from Tiberium-based contamination or contamination from other toxic sources. The vehicle is capable of recovering from electromagnetic pulse within a minute, though this durability is tested with multiple hits. The vehicle acts as a mobile command center and helps to direct forces, as well as acting as a spear tip that pierces, or rather bludgeons, through any obstacle that the front is finding difficult. It is even capable, with an adaptive armor upgrade, of increasing its own armor toughness to certain areas of its surface and getting full AMP immunity, although the mode slows charge at rate so for the railguns and limits the speed somewhat. The nearly invincible Mammoth tank does have some disadvantages, however, as it is not as adept in short-range encounters as other tanks and does not have any weapon for fighting infantry directly, at least in game. It has a slow turn rate, a slow turret rotation speed, and is so massive that it has a huge target profile. It's got the durability to survive in encounters with an enemy, but swarms of vehicles can and will destroy them. It is not absurdly effective within cities, although its hull is set up with a focus on using its size so that it can fully rotate its cannon even if it's stuck and cannot move from side to side. All in all, the Mammoth tank is a weapons platform of unequaled might that is best deployed in teams of 2 or 3 and supported by other vehicles of AAA, AA, and AP ability, as well as infantry supports, and when deployed that way, the column is only countered by the use of nuclear-level weapons and fuel-air bombs. You might equate the tank itself to a slow, rolling nuclear warhead, capable as it is to wreck its opposition without taking a scratch. And here at the end here, I'd like to talk a little bit about the size and weight of the vehicle, because like the Predator, there's a bit of a discrepancy over the size. Depending on the source, promotional art or in-game models, the size of the tank changes, and thus its weight, and based on pictures that I'm showing on screen here, this could mean that the tank could be easily reclassified as a land cruiser if its larger variants are to be believed. I had some trouble coming up with a size that fits the role and crew complement, and all the dimensions that are on screen are what I came up with based on assumed size of an entry port here, about 4 feet in height, and the ground clearance that GDI vehicles of this era seem to share of about 3 feet. The weight of the vehicle is tricky to guess at, and I am by no means an engineer or materials scientist, so I did my best to find an analog, and I found it in the Predator tank. The Predator weighs 65 tons, the same as an Abrams tank, while being a third or so larger, so I used a quick volume to weight ratio to calculate that for the Mammoth, coming up with 110.8 tons. This number, however, seemed a bit low, especially when you compare it against the smaller Mouse tank, which weighs in at about 188 tons. But when taking into account with the fact that most of the conventional heavy parts of the engine, transmission, and drivetrains are taken out, along with the composite armor, it is more believable. The Mouse is defended with large and heavy steel plates, and as a consequence it uses up most of its interior space for the engine to push it slowly across the battlefield, whereas the Mammoth doesn't require that and has more sophisticated and lighter engine systems. In another volume and weight calculation, I put the access hatch at around 6 feet tall, which shifted the calculations for everything and put the dimensions as above, with a final weight of 254 tons. At first this seemed more reasonable, but the increase in size makes the vehicle compare far better to the Rat 1000 than the Mouse or Predator tanks. And there's still the fact that in canon it can cross bridges. So I went with a lower value in size. I mean, I'm kind of forced to. Have you seen the picture of the Marv? That thing is huge, easily making the Mammoth look small by comparison. Can't wait to do a video on that one. But if we took the size of the Mammoth as it is and extrapolated how much larger that the Marv would be from that size, the Marv would be quite a bit larger than the Rat. And that seems as though we're really stretching the sizes of these vehicles out. Can't wait to do a video on it though. Anyway, the Mammoth is still extremely large. And if these weight calculations seem off to you, please comment, and we can set up a Google Docs or something of the sort to work out a more realistic model. Once again, I am no engineer. These are just my assumptions. I'd love to hear from you about this stuff, so please, feel free to post in the comments and propose corrections. And that's it. This is Game Master Karakin signing off. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit like and subscribe, and I'll try to be posting videos every Friday going forward. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.